In the darkness of the night, it flies silently through the sky, carrying the power to wipe out an entire city, without anyone noticing. People call it the breathing ghost. But what scares the world is not the bombs. It is its absolute silence. It was the twilight of the Cold War. Two superpowers stood face to face. Each one had the power to erase the other from existence. But the United States needed more than power. It needed something that couldn't be seen. Something that could strike without warning. And disappear without a trace. That's when the B-2 Spirit was born. Designed by Northrop Grumman under the top-secret Advanced Technology Bomber Program. The B-2 was never meant to be just another aircraft. It was built to be a ghost. Its mission was clear: fly deep into Soviet airspace, deliver a nuclear payload. And vanish before enemy radars could even blink. To make that mission a reality, the US invested what some called a fortune, and others, a necessity. Each B-2 Spirit cost nearly $2 billion to build. Yes, $2 billion. Per aircraft. It became the most expensive warplane ever created. But with that cost came something terrifying. The B-2 could carry up to 40,000 pounds of bombs, including nuclear weapons capable of leveling entire cities. Yet what made it truly dangerous wasn't just what it carried. It was the fact that you never saw it coming. No warning. No radar signal. No sound. Just a shadow in the clouds, and by the time you realized it was there, it was already gone. Some say the B-2 wasn't designed to win a war. It was designed to prevent one, by being too dangerous to fight against. And so, a new kind of weapon took to the skies. Not loud. Not proud. But silent. Strategic. Deadly. It didn't roar like the jets before it. It whispered. And in that whisper, the world heard the sound of fear. In war, to be unseen, is to survive. And the B-2 Spirit wasn't just built to fly. It was engineered to disappear. To understand its power, you have to start with its shape. No tail. No fuselage. No sharp edges. Just one smooth, sweeping wing, curved and cold like a blade carved from the night sky. This design is called the flying wing, a concept that dates back to World War II. But perfected through decades of hidden research. The goal? Deflect radar signals away from their source, like skipping a stone across a silent lake. But shape alone wasn't enough. The B-2's skin is coated in radar-absorbent material, or RAM. Think of it like a cloak, designed to absorb radar waves instead of bouncing them back. Even the tiniest bolts and seams are covered with this special coating, reapplied constantly by hand, inch by inch. Then there's the heat. Jet engines typically glow in the infrared spectrum. Visible to thermal trackers. But not the B-2. Its engines are buried deep inside its wings, and the exhaust is cooled and diffused through narrow, shielded vents, making it nearly invisible to heat-seeking systems. No hot spots. No trail. Just silence. And if you think that's where the stealth ends, you'd be wrong. The B-2 is programmed to limit its own radio communications, turning off non-essential signals during flight. Even the satellite links are routed through encrypted, directional beams. Designed to whisper, not shout, into space. When it flies, it doesn't talk. When it kills, it doesn't warn. And when it returns, it brings no story with it. To radar systems across the globe, the B-2 doesn't exist. It's not a blip. It's not a ghost. It's a hole in the sky. And that is exactly how it was designed to be. Before it ever leaves the ground, the B-2 goes through a ritual, precise, unforgiving, almost sacred. This isn't just preparation. It's obsession. A single flight hour can demand over 100 hours of maintenance. Every inch of its black surface must be inspected, touched, polished. The stealth coating, hand-applied with brushes no wider than a finger, must be perfect. Not 99%. Not good enough. Flawless. Because one exposed edge, one imperfect seam. And the whole aircraft could light up like a firefly on enemy radar. Every flight plan is locked under multiple layers of classified clearance. The mission details. Unknown even to most of the base staff. Only a handful of officers know the true destination. Even fewer know the target. The pilots don't just walk in. They're briefed in a sealed room, where even the air feels heavier. Because what they carry isn't just weaponry. It's consequence. Then comes the cockpit. Inside, no sunlight. No windows to the soul. Only LED readouts, system monitors, and an eerie hum. The air is pressurized, the lighting is cold, and the silence is deliberate. It doesn't look like a jet. It feels like a crypt. Once in the air, the B-2 doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't radio home. It becomes alone. It refuels mid-air, guided by lasers, not voices. It crosses oceans in one unbroken motion. One pilot once said, "The B-2 isn't flown. It flows. Through the dark. Through silence. Like it's not even part of this world." There are wars we read about in history books. There are airstrikes broadcast on the evening news. But then, there are the missions of the B-2 Spirit. Missions with no flight logs. No press releases. No official record. Only rumors. Like the night the lights went out over a military complex in the Middle East. No missiles were detected. No fighters were scrambled. But by morning, a hardened facility, buried under concrete, was nothing but rubble. Satellite footage showed no sign of attack. Only a faint heat signature, disappearing into the clouds. Or the storm in Eastern Europe, where radar stations malfunctioned in perfect synchronization. Just static on every screen. 12 seconds of silence, then, nothing. Later that week, key infrastructure in a neighboring country collapsed without explanation. No one claimed responsibility. But military analysts know. That's the signature. That's the fingerprint of the spirit. Sometimes, it flies alone. Other times, it brings a message, by flying over a hostile capital at 3 a.m., undetected, and uninvited. Imagine waking up to discover. A bomber had been directly above your head, and your best technology never even noticed. That's not just power. That's psychological warfare. A ghost in the sky that reminds the world. You can build missiles. You can build defenses. But if you can't see what's coming, you can't stop it. What makes the B-2 so terrifying isn't how often it strikes, but how rarely it needs to. Because once a nation knows the spirit is in the sky, they change their decisions. They shift their plans. They choose peace, not out of hope, but out of fear. It doesn't roar across the sky. It doesn't leave sonic booms trailing behind it. It doesn't need to. The B-2 is the antithesis of everything war used to be. No dogfights. No smoke trails. No second chances. It doesn't win wars with shock. It wins with absence. Absence of detection. Absence of warning. Absence of mercy. In the heart of every global conflict, there is always the same question whispered in war rooms and bunkers. Is the spirit already here? For over 30 years, no B-2 spirit has ever been shot down. Not once. Because you cannot kill what you cannot find. Its pilots, rarely named. Its missions, often erased. Its very existence, half shadow, half warning. And perhaps that's what makes it truly terrifying. Not its payload. Not its range, but its philosophy. The most powerful weapon is the one that never has to fire. A presence felt, not seen. A consequence, not a confrontation. The spirit isn't just a plane. It's a message. You will never see it coming. But you will feel that it came. And in that silence, in that absence of noise and fire, the world holds its breath. Because the deadliest machine in the sky doesn't shout. It whispers. In a world obsessed with louder, faster, bigger, the B2 spirit proves that sometimes the quietest presence is the most powerful. If this story moved you, if you believe that silence can be stronger than destruction, then share this with someone. Let them know. Not every shadow in the sky is just a cloud. Some are ghosts. And some are warnings.